Yes.
Hey, this is a question for Doug. Seeing all the comic book characters you portrayed in movies over the years, like Ape Sapien, Silver Surfer, do you particularly do you mind playing comic book characters? And if you do, is there any particular hero or villain in the future you may want to portray?
Wow. The thing is, my comic book knowledge, before I became an actor, was the Archies. Not a whole lot of call for that in film, but so I didn't grow up with any comic book characters like I'm dying to play, you know. But when I get offered these roles and then go research them, like the Silver Surfer, I fell madly in love with him and his whole folklore that goes with him and his stoic heroism, and I love him. And Ape Sapien too, for all completely different reasons. But yet to play that I haven't played yet. I don't know. Oh, yes. Wait, there is one. Dead Man. I would like to play Dead Man. Not gonna lie. If anybody's aware of that comic book property. And I
don't know what it is.
I think he was a circus performer, a trapeze artist, and he ends up dying. Was he? I think he might have been framed or killed, or I'm not sure. Anyway, he zombifies and comes back, and so he's this tall, skinny, sort of like circus performer zombie. That sounds great, like for a superhero. I so want to play him.
The coolest part about him is he gets to go into other bodies.
He gets to go into other bodies. That's right. Yes. So I need to research more about him. But like someone said, like, oh, Doug, you'd be good for Dead Man. So I had a look at the comic book, like, no. Yeah. So that might be the one. Yeah.
Okay, guys, over here. With the rise of like digital characters like Gollum and stuff like that, and since you play, guys in costume like Ape Sapien and stuff, I wonder what your thoughts were on, which is better, which one you prefer, obviously. I think you did a little bit of both in Silver Surfer, so just maybe your thoughts on that. So do you want to expose the secrets of that?
I can expose the secret of the Silver Surfer.
The secret? Yeah, the secret.
They had you believing, leading up to the release of the film, that was completely CG, and that I was a motion capture artist. That's not what I did. I was in a full costume and makeup as a Silver Surfer every day, glued into a muscle suit that would make me look like you guys, and because I'm skinny, but and then with a mask on that kind of transformed my face into a handsome guy, and the whole thing. I would walk out of my trailer looking like the Silver Surfer every day. I did have a couple of point dots on me, just a couple, so they could track. So that Weta Digital could track me and then put a coating over that later. But the scenes where the Silver Surfer was powered down and like tarnished and lost, was kind of weaker, that was just me in the costume with a little bit of CG to cover the blue in my eyes. So I've never done motion capture as you might think motion capture is. But what
Andy Serkis did.
But like what Andy Serkis did as Gollum, I've never done that specific type of role before. But our thoughts on that. When the world of digital was introduced and that CG thing was starting to happen, we all got kind of scared that our jobs would be abolished, because...
Then we saw the characters.
Then you see the characters and you think,
no soul.
Right, now the artwork is, CG is getting better and better and better all the
Gollum
time.
was pretty amazing.
Gorgeous work. But we find that as an audience member, and that me as an audience member, I like to connect with real people on film. I like to connect with a pair of eyes that make sense to me, and
so do the other actors, actually.
And even if it's a costume with a mechanical face, it has weight to it. It has there's something about that performance that you can really connect with. So that they found that like all of a sudden everybody went CG. It's easier to do CG later. It's very expensive too. So when you can go. So what we're finding is there's just been a turn back to guys in suits, guys in makeups, actors who can actually take on the character, which is very important. And digital is still very prevalent because you can enhance these things now.
There's a lot of what's happened. I think what Doug, like Doug said, there was a period where suddenly everybody went crazy. It was like a kid in a candy store. It's like, oh, we're just going to do digital. And then slowly they realized that actually to really make it work, they would do a marrying of the two. And Rob Hall over at Almost Human, who did a lot of my makeup for later Buffy episodes, he works a lot with those guys in the digital realm.
You know, so and your guys do it the same thing. It's so I think that's happening a lot more where there's a marrying. It's rare now. I think when you have just one or the other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and Guillermo del Toro as a director, he's one of those directors who likes to put stuff on people, real people. And he'll say that when, especially me, he'll say that when a character is too small or too big to be played by a human, that's when he'll go completely digital on it. So that's a pretty good rule of thumb, I think. Yeah.
Hands?
This is for both of you. What kind of relationship do you have with your concept designers who actually make the characters? Do you get to see the character in development? Or do you actually get to say, hey, I'd rather the character be like this rather than that? Or you just throw in their costume?
Well, it's not tossed at us.
Hear this!
Actually, the concept designers and artist people, we're usually brought into a project after that phase. It's been designed, it's been created, and then they think, oh, who would be perfect for this? And that's when we get a phone call. You might have an exception to that. We'll tell you about right now.
I probably, well, Doug does more film, and I probably do more television. But in television, things happen a lot quicker. In film, they'll spend months on the thing. And I've been lucky enough to work pretty closely with Rob Hall's company, Almost Human. And when I was doing the Prince of Lies, they allowed me to talk to the sculptor before they were actually sculpting the face. And I said, okay, this is what I'm thinking about. I'm thinking he's going to be like miserable. So I talked to him, and sure enough, you know how they're always removing our lips? Well, this guy had taken into account that I was going to already be miserable and frowning, and not once without makeup did they have to remove my lips, because he had taken that into account. And the same thing with that character, they wanted to use these finger extensions. Well, I said, here again, if I hadn't had a close relationship with him, they'd been like, he's an actor, up he is, But, right, or I would have been giving me a concept afterwards, but they actually were telling me what they're going to do, because I've worked with them a lot, and I said, well, guys, the Prince of Lies, his hands will probably be out here a lot, and he's kind of, his hands are going to be kind of elegant. Those are going to look clumsy. Would you mind? We could do maybe kind of like what the Uber band had, those long nails, and just glue them right on my fingernails. And they were like, ooh, great idea. But that's rare. I mean, I was very lucky that they allowed me that input, but it's rare.
For me, it's an overall design and whatnot is usually done ahead of time.
Absolutely.
Tweaks like the finger thing you were just talking about, I get asked about that all the time, like for comfort's sake and for performance sake. It's like, when they design a drawing of you and then you take on the character and find that he's going to be like this most of the time or whatever, if that's where his hands live before as they gesture after they come back and live here, that might change something that in the design that they'll want to take into account. Yeah, so we work in concert with each other. But I say let the artists do what the artists do.
Oh, yeah.
And they'll let us act. You know what I mean?
Well, it's funny because I remember seeing numerous conceptual drawings for Gnarl, and they kept, they must have done close to a half a dozen different ones before they got to the point where the producers went, yeah. And they kept making the nose not quite big enough, and the producer was finally like, like a sausage, make it really big, But, at first it was kind of pointy like Pinocchio, and I saw that, and that's kind of silly.
Gnarl shouldn't have been silly.
Okay, guys, back here.